Hello, my name is Eldurrino, and the intro that you're about to listen to has very disturbing sounds. Viewer listening or watching is advised. Viewer discretion is advised.
I can edit that out. All right, thank you.
No,
keep that in. Keep it.
Fair enough.
Hi there, folks. Eldurrino here. So I was slated today for the intro, and I was planning on continuing on into episode 3 of my new series, 6 Chambers. However, I have been running into a couple of issues with it, and because of that, I've decided to put that project on hiatus for the time being. The issues being, it's a very interesting story in my head, and I want to make sure I have enough time to tell it right. It's very difficult to condense all the information I want to put into the story, stuff that is necessary, into a short window of 10 to 15 minutes. So I decided that it would just be better to separate that from the intros and give it what it deserves. Secondly, it was also taking up a lot of our guest time. By the way, hi guest for today. I think it's a Badger. Hopefully I'm not wrong about that, or else I'm going to probably kick myself later. But it was taking away from our guest time, a 10 to 15 minute intro, then another 15 minutes for us to do our little roundtable thing. That only left our guest about 30 minutes maybe to talk about themselves, and I don't think that's fair. So I'm going to quit rambling now, and then that's my reasoning. But in any case, today, the 29th of September, I have decided that I am going to stop being a little bitch and get out of my funk. And how am I going to get out of my funk? I decided to give myself a 30-day creative writing challenge. The reason I'm doing this is because I need an outlet. I need something that is going to be there for me when I get home from work, and it's going to be something that I'm excited to do. So, I know I'm a little bit ahead of October, so I'm a little bit ahead of spooky season, but I wanted to try and write a new short story every day for 30 days, and hopefully stick within the themes of horror. Now, if you wish to participate in this challenge with me, please do so, and don't feel restricted to just writing. It could be voice acting, just reading scripts. It could be learning an instrument or practicing the instrument that you haven't picked up in a while. My guitar is staring at me saying, "Play me, please." It could be about anything. Wherever you are in life, whatever journey you're walking currently, do it consistently for 30 days. Make a note of where you start and make a note of where you end, and see how they compare. I promise they'll be different. So, with all that being said, my first short story is about an idea or a thought that's kind of been floating around rent-free in my brain for maybe the past 3 months or so, and I kind of just turned it into a horror story, so hopefully it is good, and hopefully you guys will like it. Lastly, if you want to participate in this challenge with me, please send me whatever you are doing, ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com. The appropriate people will forward it to me, and I'll tell you what I think, if that's what you want. Hell, I'll just say, good job, I'm proud of you for doing something, keep it up. Yeah, anyways. Intro, here we go. Where has the passion gone? He took his pen from the page and stared at the words. A singular thought that had been floating around in his brain for the past several months had finally been laid bare in front of him. He bit his lower lip and tapped the end of his pen against his temple. Though it pained him to admit it, he was not making anything of himself with questions alone. He can always wonder why, as we grow older, we watch our hearts slowly wilt away. The constant battle of holding on to that childlike curiosity and letting it feed his brain was an exhausting one. One that kept his body and mind forever at odds. Then it dawned on him. He lowered his pen again, clenching his jaw, as he wrote 3 simple words. It's right here. A drop of red fell onto the white tile beneath his feet. He watched another splash against his foot. He chose to ignore it. There were far more important matters to deal with, particularly the one directly in front of him. Would people enjoy his writing? Or would they question it, tearing it asunder, piece by piece? His doubt was surfacing again. He chose to ignore it. He sat up straight, a slight grin having spread across his face. It mattered not what others thought, as long as he was satisfied. And that was worth more than anything. He carved his initials into the flesh before him with his mighty pen, as he had done with his thought-provoking question. The sign of a true artist, he thought to himself, as the body on the table had started to stir. This was the truest art of all. The grin on his face had slowly turned into a full smile. He hadn't even realized that tears had begun welling in his eyes. It caused him discomfort, but he didn't care. This was merely the beginning of a life-altering experience. And he knew now that he couldn't just give up. He must keep writing. He must keep writing. He must keep writing! Off in the distance, in the neighborhood around him, he could hear police sirens approaching. He chose to ignore them.
Holy crap.
Whoa. Nice.
Oh, shit, that's been living rent free in your head?
Well, not.
Are we meant to be concerned, Eldurrino?
No. So I mean, the general message is that I need to stop worrying about what others think and make my own choices and stick with them. Just as I choose to ignore certain things in my life, I should choose to not ignore certain things in my life. The whole horrible sounds thing was just, I don't know, I wanted it to be cool.
It was very cool.
It's visceral.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hopefully you warned everybody around you before you started recording that, because I'm sure it would have been.
No. I should have probably warned our audience about the horrible graphic nature of that. But thanks for listening if you are still here.
Thanks for making it.
You know, by all technicality, at the end of the show, we could record something to throw on up on YouTube. But those of us that are here present, thank you for sticking around. Hopefully you stick around. Yeah. I should say, welcome to Cold Read the Podcast. This podcast for voice actors by voice actors. Thanks to everybody that's here while we're recording live here on Twitch. Current date is October 9th. It is a Sunday, and we always do it at noon. If you have any questions or any topics you want us to talk about, feel free to email us, coldreadthepodcast@gmail.com. coldreadthepodcast@gmail.com. We also have a Discord going. There's a lot of us that are participating actively. We do video games. We do a lot of stuff. If you have a question, you can come join us. We've had a couple people join in. A couple weeks ago, I talked about somebody from that Renara found for us in Casting Call Club who joined in, and when we asked where they were from, it's like, oh yeah, we just, I saw you guys and dropped in the show and just joined the Discord, and that was great. It was awesome. So don't be afraid. Come on in. We're not unreachable. We love to talk to people. So come on in. But with all that said and done, let's go ahead and start checking in with our co-hosts and see how everything's going on the other side of the world. So Renara, let's start with you. How are you?
No, I'm okay. I'm good. I have been doing a lot of well, ironically enough, today's been sort of like the week's been very up and down. Some good stuff and some really shitty stuff. Like shitty to the point of which I had literally one of my friends had to drive to my house to make sure I was okay. But everything is fine. And I've been I've been realizing also I'm in a bit of a rut in regards to just I knew I was stuck. I know I'm just stuck on something, and I came to the realization of currently it's my day job. Like that is what's causing me to not progress in other areas, because I'm feeling so tied up with like tied down by my current day job that it's sapping all motivation to do anything else, and my mental health is struggling massively. So I have kind of made the decision to properly look into what the next evolutionary step at the very least for Renara Hawke will be, and currently it's looking like social work at the minute, because it is one of the things I wanted to do, and it's the thing of I'd like to help. That's my thing. Yeah. I want to help, be it through using voice acting in social work. That might be a really snazzy thing that I could bring to the table. I don't know. All I know is that I am at the stage in my life where I'm not making enough money on voice acting.
Right.
I'm not going to stop. I'm still going to keep doing it, but I want that passion reignited back. I want that get up and go to come back. So I want to get better and even evolve myself and stop stagnating in the pool of my own fear.
Yikes. Okay. Oh, that was very visual.
Sorry.
That's okay.
We're on that subject. So I'm looking at possibly doing a course which might lead to some qualifications at the end of it, and go into at the very least part-time social work, which would help me to have more of an impact, because I'm a doer. I like to do things and be active and doing stuff, and if I can do all I can, then I've done all I can, if that makes sense. People are my jam. People are my jam. You are all my jam.
Yay.
So I want to grow and change and be a better version of myself and not be afraid to take that next step. So I am doing that currently.
Gotcha.
Sort of thing. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Yay.
I'm still here though. And I'm still doing bits and pieces. I will, once I've got some stuff like on the works, I'm not stopping. Like I'm gonna do some extra bits and pieces, and I can't promise I can do a thing a day, Eldurrino, but I am gonna at the very least try to do a sort of Ren Reads thing on my channel, which
Did you just doubt yourself?
Oh no.
Oh no.
I'm about to be aggressively positive.
Okay, I shall attempt to. I will try to do a Ren Reads every day and find some sort of Creative Commons, creative writing things out in the open, and record myself and upload it to my YouTube channel.
Yay!
But yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate it, and I always wish you the best, right? Because you do deserve it. So.
Yeah.
I do my best, guys. I do my best.
The accent. Can we just say so people are my jelly didn't work. How about people are my bacon? No, that may not work as well. Maybe not. Okay, never mind. Next
people
person.
Are my mayonnaise?
Yeah.
People are my General Tso's chicken.
I don't think I've ever had that. Okay. That's fine.
You should. It's great.
Well, I'll keep that in mind. Misty, how are you doing? Quickly, bail us out of this.
Well, I wish I had some voice acting stuff to report. I've just not been doing much of that lately, unfortunately. Just because I've been so focused on making money to make sure I pay for everything on time. But I haven't auditioned yet. I haven't submitted my entry for the Ultimate VO Survivor, but I will be doing that very soon because it's on the 15th, I think, the deadline. So I promise I will do that as soon as I can. Only thing is that like every entry is $10, and I'm just like squeezing my money lately. I'm just like, so
gotcha.
it might just be one entry instead of two. I will see.
You have to pay?
Yeah, every entry you pay for every entry that you do. It's just because the prize pool, they did this last year too, where every person that enters gets a prize.
Yeah, it's
regardless.
Like a pot, basically.
Yeah, so it's like the big prizes obviously are very, very huge, but every person that enters gets a prize. So that's why that there's an entry fee. I believe it's $10, I think. So I was going to do two, might just do one. I will see. Just like money's just been very much a stressor lately because the car, the insurance, and everything. I'm like, but apart from that, I'm still very happy because my grandma just is here visiting, and it feels very good to be like, hey, I have a car. I'm doing well. Yay. So it's just good to have that kind of thing where people don't have to be worried about me and it's validated. It's like, okay, you're doing good. Nice to see.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad. I'm good. I'm happy to see a smile on your face. So that's also very nice.
Yeah. Agreed.
Very good. And I also hear, I mean, if you've been driving around, no accidents, no nothing. So yay.
Dear God, I hope not.
Yeah.
It's been relaxing, actually. I've been on the highway quite a bit, like going up and down, and it's been great. I feel it.
14 car pileup caused by Misty Rose.
No! My partner jokes like that too because we used to play in GTA a bit. And like, you're gonna be a menace in the streets. I'm like, I swear I won't drive like this. I promise.
Well, welcome, Misty. Thank you again for being here. I appreciate it. Mr. Eldurrino, how was your week?
It was okay. The creative writing thing has actually been very good for me. I know that intro was really dark. And again, I apologize. I mean, I guess if we don't do that thing at the end of the episode, I apologize to those for the lack of a trigger warning. But it was like being able to write every day, even if it's just a page, like it's been very therapeutic for me. And I know I said in my intro, I had recorded this, obviously a couple weeks back. But I kind of broke away from doing something horror related every day because I just didn't want to write. By day 3, I immediately was like, I don't feel like writing horror today. Like I kind of just want to write, something else. And there was even a day in which I simply just put, I don't know what the hell I'm going to write today. And that just led into an entire page worth of, what I'm thinking essentially. Nice. It's almost like a diary entry.
Right.
Yeah. But still, I mean, it's something. It gets the brain going, and again, it's something I really need to do in order to get myself out of this funk. And again, if you're listening, watching, first off, thank you. Second of all, if you want to do this same thing with me, please send me your stuff. I want to listen to it. And if you want feedback, I'll give that to you as well. And I'll send you my stuff, and you can do the exact same. And then we can be buddies. So.
Are you looking to recruit friends? Is that what I'm hearing? Or? Dear God.
Why do you think I'm writing in a diary for the next 30 days?
Yikes.
No, otherwise, the week has been okay. Not really a whole lot of crazy stuff to speak of. We ended up having to go to a funeral yesterday, so we spent the day doing that. But no, otherwise, nothing too crazy to speak of, at least not that I can recall.
Gotcha. Well, still, welcome. Thanks for being here. Personally, for me, it's been an interesting week. There's been a lot going on, both in my personal life and in my work life. The biggest thing right now, I think, is that I'm giving up what I consider the stream room / my studio, so my daughter can move into here, and then I'm gonna move to a different floor completely, like subterranean. So the road noise is probably going to stop. The door, the infamous bathroom door that keeps opening and closing, will probably go away. But I'm sure I'll have a whole slew of other voice, or not voice, but audio pollution, let's call it that, to deal with. But I'm planning on doing that next weekend. So that may put me in a position where it may be difficult for us to be able to go through, and we'll do it in one way or another. What I don't know is if we'll be able to stream it, but at the very least I do want to record an episode. So we'll see how far I can get on everything else. So you may have to wait for YouTube or wait to hear it on a podcast to actually watch it. But I mean, I still appreciate everybody here. I see Monster Tank in chat, and I see Meg Morta. Thank you so much. I know Xavier's lurking. There's a whole bunch of people that are lurking. I appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you for that. With that being said, let's move on to topics. I've got one real quick that I want to bring up. And I want to see if my video... okay. So this is a video that was given to me or sent to me by Raven May. So real quick, everybody's in, right?
Yep.
Everybody can see it. This is more of an audio thing anyway. So 3, 2, 1.
Voice actors, there is a scam going on that you need to know about and to share with all of your other voice actor friends. I'm going to walk you through everything that they did, how they approached me, who they claimed to be, and the red flags along the way. Here's how it started. They posted a job on the pay-to-play website that I use, and it seemed legit enough, so I auditioned for it. Here's my recording of the script. Industrial Technologies designs, develops, and markets sensoring, monitoring. Here was the first red flag. They reached out to me a few days later saying they had a position for a full-time voice actor at a company called SAIC, and they wanted me to interview via Zoom chat. A little side note here, the real company, SAIC, is a defense contractor for the U.S. government. Now, another one of my clients is also a defense contractor for the U.S. government, so I reached out to my friends at Airbus and I said, hey, have you ever heard of SAIC? And they said, yes, they're a fantastic company. We compete for the same jobs often, but we're a friendly business-to-business relationship. If you can get on with them, do it. Which again added more to the legitimacy because these con artists are using the reputations built up by actual businesses. Flag number 2. I reached out to Bidalgo Support because I couldn't find the job number that they listed. Bidalgo Support said they took it down because something didn't seem quite right. Proceeding cautiously, I did the interview and it took about an hour. They asked legit questions. They linked real LinkedIn profiles that are linked with the actual company. And they sent seemingly real documentation for SAIC's privacy policy. Surprise, surprise, they email me a few days later and offer me the job. I tell them that I need a few days to think about it, but before I move forward, I'd like to speak to somebody on the phone or over video. Now that is where it stopped for me. So I Google Reddit SAIC voiceover, and the first thing that pops up is a user explaining the exact same tactic. This is a very elaborate, very well thought out, long con. Be careful. I know I am an overly hopeful human being. That's how I function in life. And oftentimes, like now, that works to my detriment. So be careful. Ask a lot of questions. Use this video. Spread it around as much as you can so other people don't get taken for a ride. Take care.
There it is.
Damn, they're getting crafty.
They are. Now, there was a lot of questions that popped up in the actual, so in the comments, obviously, as I was looking through. What is the scam? What are they trying to get? Because, I mean, it's not like they're just trying to get your voice.
It looks like they're trying to get a signature, because if you looked at that thing, it was a contract to sign. And so I'm wondering if they are looking for a signature that they can use and then start to, well, you've signed, like somehow use what you've signed to rope you into doing stuff, more like stuff for them for free almost, maybe. I don't know. It seems to be trying to get you to the point of which you'll just sign a document and then they can just do what they want afterwards. Because that's when it stopped for him. He said that once they wanted to speak to somebody or see someone, and then they just stopped. I think they were just hoping that he would sign that contract, and then they could do, right, we've got his signature, we've got him locked in, now we can do what we want. It seems like that, if that makes sense.
So the other theory, there was a theory that basically said maybe they want his bank information Like they'll send over like
Yes.
an HR form, and then that will get the bank
Yes.
account number, and maybe within conjunction with the signature on there.
Yeah.
That can be an issue.
Yeah,
think
so I was
very
just
likely.
I was curious about what he said about that he had looked it up via Reddit, and someone else was talking about it, and it looks like they basically hold on, let me.
Ray,
Okay,
while you're doing
so-
that, Ravenman's in chat saying, my belief is that they're looking for banker social security information. A lot of that information is involved in onboarding documentation.
Correct. Yeah,
The
usually,
thing is that they're posing it as a full-time job, which is like, yeah, it's very suspicious on handling. Why would you hire a full-time voice actor with a
Voice actors.
salary and everything?
Yeah,
It's
'cause
like,
there
that's
was-
just not how that really works.
There was a range
No.
of about 57 to 75.
I mean,
Mhm.
that's not necessarily true. I mean, there are some companies that do hire people that do their voiceover internally, and they are paid a salary. So that part is legitimate. I just wanted to quickly read, though. Another user basically went through the same process, and they write, after a week, they sent me a job offer letter, and these people are not messing around like you said about the LinkedIn profiles. The email accounts look legit. Everything seemed legit. I even forwarded a copy of my employment offer letter email to my dad, and he went over it and said it seemed legit to him. I had a feeling something was off, but when they sent me a check to quote unquote pay for the supplies, I knew something was wrong, but I wanted to be certain it was a scam. Thankfully, I went to the teller at my bank, and they told me that they could not scan it, it would not go through, and I should contact the provider about it. So it sounds like, yes, it's probably, kind of a twofold thing. It's, they're trying to screw you over with, fake checks, essentially. Like, here's your sign-on bonus of $500, bring it to the bank, they can't scan it, then you're screwed. And yes, when it comes to full-time positions, that is something that you normally provide right away for direct deposit, which is, the company that you work for, their processor sends the money directly to your bank account. Providing that information, providing your routing number and your account number, they have access to all your money right there. So I'm assuming it was probably mostly just the bank account information.
Jeez, if that's legit, I want to find a job like that, like a legit one that would actually provide, voice for a company. I didn't know that they actually offered that as a job, like dedicated
Careful,
to
they
that.
they might
Okay.
listen to this and go, "Oh, look, Misty is a prime target."
Yeah, right.
I didn't think that existed.
Called
Like whenever I've
vulnerable.
seen voice acting as like employment, it's always been like, like people getting signed with like an agency and all that stuff, right? Never
Yeah.
heard of this like
Yeah.
in a corporate sense of like actually getting a position to do that.
I've actually seen them on LinkedIn.
Oh.
Yes.
There have been
I was
some.
going to say it kind of depends. My only experience with it was when I worked for a nameless chicken wing franchise. Their VO for their commercials, they had, I think, 2 or 3 of them. But they all worked different positions within the company. They just
Yeah.
did that like as kind of a side job thing. So like they still made a fair amount of extra money on the side because of it. But yeah, like any company that you work for that does some type of advertising, if you like VO, ask them about it.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
do you guys need a voice for commercials? Do you guys need a voice for your phone tree? Like just simple things like that. You never know what you can find.
I should do that because like that's the kind of stuff that I have the most experience with, like on voice buttoning. That's like a lot of what I did, like IVR stuff or corporate stuff. It's like,
Yeah, totally.
Ask them about advertising and go, "Hey, I'm a voice actor. I can do this. You don't have to outsource."
Oh yeah, screen capture slow. Thank you. FY, I mean the biggest thing I guess to watch out for is that if it's too good to be true, get
It
super
probably is.
suspicious. It probably
Well, not only
is.
that, yeah. I mean, like, especially when it comes to, signing up for an alleged job where you do have to provide that personal information, such as your bank account information or your social security number. Make sure you're talking to a person, like an actual person, because scripts through the means of like chats like that, they are pretty like intricate. Like it'll pull certain words from whatever you say and generate a response based on that. So yeah, the biggest red flag there I saw personally was just he never got to speak to an actual person.
Yes.
On the phone or video conference or face to face. Big no.
I mean, it's crazy, and when it comes to scamming in general, I mean, I tend to watch, I mean, who doesn't watch Kid Boga if you get a chance, or, they are very intricate and they're very persistent. So you really need to be careful, and they play on fear a lot. So if shit's getting weird, definitely start looking for help. Yep.
It's completely random, but we are on the topic of scams. There's one thing that, at the very least in England, is we get a lot of like phone call scams, basically just on your phone. But a lot of them are sort of like, obviously they've auto-generated a number or auto-scanned your number, and like you've got an automated fake person. If that happens to you, just don't answer it and don't speak, because they are waiting for you to say hello, and then it then triggers the play the message thing then. So if you pick up the phone and you don't say anything, and I've pissed off a few actual legitimate people by doing this, but genuinely it will get you off that call list, because they'll log it as a inactive number. So if you pick up the phone, do not respond, and it just cuts itself off, you've just saved yourself a scammer, and you don't have to worry about it ever again. It works, trust me.
Or you can do what I do and just talk Spanish to them and frustrate them so much that they hang up.
That's I don't know Spanish, Eldurrino.
Okay.
I can't
It
do
is
that.
interesting though, because I have noticed that it's normally very silent, and then as soon as you say something, it's like, "Hi, we're contacting you from
Just
this."
stay quiet, and it will.
Hi, we're
it will cut
contacting you
itself
from
off.
Amazon. You just bought an iPhone.
Yeah,
Yes.
No.
Or it's we've detected fraud on your bank account. You need to log into these details, like log in to sort out this shit. And I'm just there going. Boop.
Yeah.
It's honestly very intricate, and that's why it's you can tell that people monitoring internet activity is very much a thing, because they specifically send me emails for stuff that I use, like your Walmart account is hacked, or your Apple, your Amazon. It's it makes you think oh my god, but then it's nah, I'm good. I don't know, that's not going on. My password wasn't changed.
Dorino's been trying to say something, so what you got?
I want to take a quick moment to have a little story time with Eldurrino.
Yes.
Go for it.
Okay, so back in my early 20s, looking for one of my first, I guess it'd be a second job technically, one of the opportunities that I had was working at a telemarketing agency. I didn't do it. I did the training. I didn't actually accept the job because I realized very quickly what it was, and I was like, I ain't about that. So going through the training, they were explaining, when you call somebody, generally keep them on the line as long as you can, because over time they're just going to become weaker, I guess, and just eventually give in. However, if there were people who were unruly and very uneasy to work with, those people get flagged as the inactive numbers. So this is awkward.
So you're basically saying yell at people on the phone until they stop calling you.
It really depends. I chose to go with the awkward approach, and I waited for a telemarketer call to come up, and then it was an automated bot thing right off the bat. And I just kept saying, I want to speak to someone. I want to speak to someone. And eventually I did get someone on the line that was, calling me about my car's extended warranty or some crap. And then I started playing an adult film, and I left the phone right next to the speaker.
Yes! That is how you do it.
Oh my god, okay.
Hell yes.
Marking that for the clip.
And they never called again.
Interesting.
That's up there where, like that woman who yells at it and then puts the pan lid on top and just smacks it.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Now, this is not advice for people by any means, but just know that, if you do something really crazy to a telemarketer, there's a chance, or there's a good probability that they will not call you.
Do that, because I keep getting phone calls from the whole car's extended warranty thing, and I'm like, oops.
I don't.
You didn't even had a car. Yeah.
Exactly. I I was just looking for insurance. I was just looking for like insurance quotes, and they're like, we're calling you. We have records that you're like warranties for your Nissan Rogue. I'm like, I don't even have that. I was just looking for insurance. Stop calling.
No, yeah. Guys, my car's 20 years old. Yes, my warranty's expired. Come on.
It's like, what are you doing?
Right?
And they're like, did you get the thing we sent in the mail? Like, you don't even have my address. What is this? Like, you don't.
Yeah. No. Okay. I think we've covered that topic enough. I think Renara had something.
Not really.
You're deciding not to?
I don't know enough yet to really make a proper commentary on it, to be honest, because it is to do with financial stuff, and I don't want to end up saying something, and so one of our listeners goes and does something and gets investigated by the IRS or something. Okay. So, all I will say on the topic of, at the very least with voice acting, this is something I never really thought about because I don't earn enough money yet, but it was a thing that I was talking to somebody to do with work and to do with my looking for maybe something else for my day job type thing. And then we were talking about my voice acting and the fact that I have, I've got a signed contract of one of the paying ones, which will start at some point this year. Mm-hmm. There's no actual start date on it, but it's a contract and everything. And he was like, talking to me about it. And he went, so are you technically self-employed? And I'm there going, oh shit. I don't know. I don't know. So I've done a little bit of digging on that front because as a voice actor, if you're making money off of it, you need to let your government know so they can tax you on it. It sucks. It's a thing. And even in England, it's a thing. Well,
hold on.
I now can empathise with all of you lovely Yankees over there is that I have to in England, we do have to, at the very least, not calculate it to the point of which you have to do like the sort of on your calculator type thing. Mm-hmm. It's once you earn a certain amount, I don't know how much, please do your own research, people listening to this. At the very least in the UK, with anything outside of a salary job, when you're doing it with self-employed, you have to be earning roughly, I think, disclaimer, I don't know, roughly about over £1,000 a year, I think. In regards to registering yourself as a self-employed business, mm-hmm. because that's technically what you are at that point. Then over a certain amount, the UK government will tax at least, I think it's 20% over a certain threshold of money that you make annually. And it's only the money above that threshold that gets taxed. So anything under, I think, 12k is you keep, and anything above that, it gets taxed by the government. I don't know this for shit, really. I am not a financial person. Please do not quote me on this. But it's a thing that I would ask every voice actor listening to, at the very least, look up what self-employment means for you in your local area, in your regional area, and the rules on tax and things like that. Because if you are a voice actor who is starting to make money and everything, and you're growing and you've got your brand and everything, you don't want the government, knocking on your door going, why haven't you paid tax on your income? Why have you not declared this? So it's a thing to think about. And I just thought I would bring it to one's attention because I was like, oh, shit, I need to know this. I have no idea if it's different in America, to be honest. But over in England, at the very least, this is the amount of information I have garnered so far. I am still doing my own research. I would encourage everyone listening to do so also. Yes. There's my thing.
Please consult your own tax. Shoot, I lost it. Okay. Very cool. Yes, for sure. If you're earning money, make sure to declare it. It's very important. Look up your own stuff. Go talk to a tax professional. Don't rely on us to be able to say. Yeah, CPA or tax professional. Thank you, Magmorta.
Thank you.
I definitely, because I have declared the Twitch stuff, I have declared the voice acting stuff, and a lot of the voice acting stuff comes in from PayPal. It comes in from means that are generally not, very easy to come by. You don't get a W-2. So yeah. Oh yeah, Patreon's important. Absolutely. Yeah. And don't forget to join Renara's Patreon, please. That's links always in the description.
All of the money I make on Patreon will go directly to voice actors that I hire. I don't see a single penny of that. I'm building that up to be able to pay for voice actors for other things. So I don't. The money that goes in there goes directly into paying voice actors. So
and taxes.
And taxes! And taxes!
So you don't make anything from that.
No.
That's a very, very noble cause. Very cool. I've got one more thing that I did want to talk about before we move into some of the topics we've got in the bullpen. So as I'm still active on Voices, there was one particular one that I was privately invited for that I'm still not sure if I'm going to do, and here's why. You have to book your own studio time in a professional studio and pay out of pocket, and they will not reimburse you. The earning for the job is not bad. The earning for the job is not. It is one of those unfortunate.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Do not accept that job.
No.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was. I was in the same boat.
If they're not even gonna do that, think about how they're gonna treat you in other areas. Just saying.
Yeah.
Now, oddly enough, this place has
sorry,
126 responses.
I mean, I'm sure, but people may not know the full details behind it, and I don't like to see when people agree to a job that is going to end up costing them almost the same amount that they're going to get paid.
And that really does turn into the thing, because you've got at least 2 rounds of revisions, so you're looking at least 3 particular bookings, and even small studios, you're talking about a big chunk of money.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when it comes to this
I
stuff.
could understand if they didn't, ironically enough, I could probably understand if they didn't reimburse you for travel cost if the studio was near you. But at the very least, actually paying for the studio is important.
Yeah, if they want a quality product and they want it to be recorded in a studio, they should be shelling out the cost for it, not the contractor or whoever's doing it for them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read specifically the line so everybody can get kind of a handle where this is. Technical requirements. This is a high-level job, so it is required that you go to a local studio to record the VO over multiple sessions. We will be asking you for studio recommendations in your area. If you are chosen, all studio fees will be paid by the client. Oh, maybe it's their side, by the client directly. I don't know if that means their client or us. That may actually mean them.
Because you are the talent in that perspective, and they are the client.
Realized.
So actually, that makes more sense now. So
maybe I will try for it.
Reach out and ask them.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, when it comes to reaching out and asking for these particular ones, I don't see myself. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Because client in that respect.
No, I guess it is by
them or the person who has contracted them to do this, because you are technically the talent.
I'm glad I brought this up, because otherwise I would have let this opportunity come by. This is a Spanish one too, so those generally tend to be a little bit more up my wheelhouse now.
In my contract that I've signed with this other very mini indie production company, they call themselves the client. In that regard, client will provide X amount, blah, blah, blah. Talent will provide blah, blah, blah. So I think that seems to be the professional lingo sort of thing. So
it would have been nice if they would have clarified that, but yeah.
The client is the person receiving the work from the talent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I feel much more comfortable.
I was going to say, I mean, that almost seems like, you hire someone to renovate your bathroom and you say, oh, yeah, by the way, you have to buy all the supplies. We need a new sink and bathtub and tile. You can afford that, right?
Yeah, that comes out of your stuff, and then we'll maybe, we'll see.
I was going to say that, I mean, they even mentions that they ask you, I assume, for specific recommendations for studios so they can get an idea of what's in your area and stuff, and then they'll
But that's also, that turns into the other thing. Is do I just Google vocal?
I think they're looking for, if you've already used, basically if you're a voice actor who has used a certain studio and are comfortable and are aware of how it runs and works, then they want to hear your recommendations so they know how best to get the best performance out of you, and then they can do their own research on things. Maybe, I don't know, I'm giving them benefit of doubt here.
Because I don't think they're gonna do the research. They say I'm in whatever city. It's they're gonna do the research and be like, hey, go here. It's I think it's better which one is for you. You take a look at things and see which one suits you better, and then it's hey, this one. I'll go here.
I don't think it's necessarily about the studio itself. It's just more that because it's an online job, people are applying from all over the US, and the company can't necessarily be responsible for knowing every single recording studio that there is in the nation. So I imagine they're more looking for you to just kind of do a quick Google Maps search for recording studios around me. Find the ones that have the best reviews on them, and then send that over to them. Because then they need to contact the studio, say, what are your rates? What's your schedule like, et cetera, and then they'll obviously book the time on your behalf, and then you just show up and stuff like that.
It's funny. So this I'm glad I brought it up, because I may have let that opportunity completely slide had I not talked to you guys. And this is why we've always said it's very important to have somebody to bounce this information off of. So thank you, team. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
Yeah. Do I have something else? I don't know if I have something.
Contract? Was that it? Or there was a thing that said that they signed a contract or something. Let me see. Was offered an outlandish contract by agent, that one?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
That's a different topic.
Yeah, go ahead. We got time. Go ahead.
I was interested in that one. I was just looking at it.
Do me a favor, read through it real quick.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm saying
me or Misty?
Misty, you brought it up.
Misty.
Oh, okay. So it says, hey y'all, I was on Reddit. As the topic describes, I was recently offered a contract by an agent, but the contract has a lot of issues with it and wanted to get others' opinions. So firstly, the term of the contract states it lasts for 3 to 5 years.
Yikes.
Depending on company desires, if profitable for them. I guess that's what they're assuming. Okay. And secondly, the contract specifies that any disagreements I have with direction can be submitted to said agent, but it would be company discretion if my disagreements are acted upon. And dissolution of the business relationship is in company discretion as well. So they just handle everything.
Oh, this sounds horrible.
Thirdly, any work I get outside of the agent's own work. So like with if they find something themselves, they would get 25% commission of the agent, even if it's not something that they book for me.
I mean, isn't 20 the standard?
No. I mean, if you have an agent and you're booking work by yourself without the use of the agent, I see. Should receive any payment for that.
Yeah, it's like then you didn't book this for me. You didn't really do anything for me in this regard. And then lastly, it says, fourthly, on top of that, any landed gigs that the agent gets from me, they would receive 50% commission.
Holy shit!
Yeah, that's not okay.
Hard no on this
so far.
So that's why they just wanted to reach out for some advice, because they had a previous agent that did nothing for them. So they're just trying to get anything that they can. But yeah, everyone's just sort of saying it's a scam. And it's like,
What's that last bit? It says, now I normally would have scoffed and turned away from the contract in a heartbeat. However, I had a previous agent that did absolutely nothing for me outside of one job that got me an IMDb credit. Where I live, agents are not flowing in abundance. I'm thinking that even knowing it may be a while before I land another agent, at least I won't be on the hook for the next several years. Sorry, I just was wondering know what the end of that was.
It makes sense. Yeah. Okay, so... Yeah. You're essentially locking yourself to share your money for the next 3 to 5 years with this one person.
If they agree that they like you and want to continue working with you at their discretion, which is a huge power play and is not a professional way to deal with people. If you put this in regards to like an everyday job and how that would sound in perhaps like a manager to like sales assistant role, and it just sounds so like you are at basically my beck and call. You make any penny you make, I get a bit of it, even if I'm not like having a hand in it. It sounds terrible.
It does.
Sounds exploitative. It sounds like it's preying off of the desperation of wanting an agent. And that sort of mindset of, if I have an agent, I'll get jobs. There is no guarantee in that regard, even then. And especially this just sounds like more desperation on the agent side of things, in that even if you get work, you're still going to give me money. I'm still going to get like as much money as I can off of you, because you're the one who desperately needs an agent and I'm the one who's available. It sounds terrible. I'm just going to end it there.
Okay.
Yes. I want to quickly run through this just point by point, just because they did split it up evenly. So first thing, contract 3 to 5 years. That is not outside the norm for just contractual jobs, especially if they've mentioned that it is meant to be a long-term position. So I can't really say anything about that. Yes, they do have the right to terminate the contract at any point for any reason that they see fit. That is pretty standard. If you are concerned about that, lawyer up. That's about all I can say for that. Second, contract specifies that any disagreements I have with direction can be submitted to said agent, but it would be company discretion if my disagreements were acted upon. Also, dissolution of the business relationship is at the company discretion as well. Sadly, I have to say that is also fairly standard.
Really?
If you go into a corporate position, you know, if I was working a desk job, I should not expect my input to be valued. And I know it really sucks to hear that, but that's kind of just the nature of the beast. I imagine that this company is probably a fairly, I guess, prestigious company if they're so insane to say something like that. But at the same time, like I said, like if I'm working a desk job, I don't really expect to have my input valued. I just go there and I collect my money and then I leave. And again, like dissolution of the business relationship is at the company's discretion as well. Kind of ties into the contract thing. They can basically kind of say, all right, you're done whenever they want. And I know it sucks, but that's, why you always read through a contract before signing your name on the dotted line. Third, any work I get outside of my agent's own work, they would get 25% commission of. I don't agree with this. I think it is absolutely outlandish, as you put in your post. The only thing I could think of as to why said agent will be requesting that is because when you are going around saying I'm represented by so-and-so, or I'm represented by such and such agency, you're kind of using their like stamp of approval in a sense. And so they basically want to have you pay them for having that stamp of approval. I think that if I don't personally agree that they should get any cut of any jobs that you book outside of their representation. However, I think it is proper for them to say, like maybe 5% at most, I would say. I know that sounds really stupid, but again, it's that stamp of approval that you have on your name. I'm, Eldurrino. I'm represented by ColdReadthePodcast talent agency. Like if you're using that all over the place, that they have an image to uphold, and so therefore, I'm going to start that company. Anyway,
that is like a genuine idea, though. We know
and the last point that they made is that any gigs that the agent landed for me, they would receive 50% commission of. Absolutely fucking not.
No.
Do not agree to that, because that is literal highway robbery. Like the standard, as Zamoody mentioned earlier, is about 20%. So, and if you want to negotiate it, whether it be lower or they want to go, a little bit higher than 20, that's up to your own discretion. I can't really say anything about that, but do not, for the love of all that is holy, agree to a 50% wage cut, because that's dumb. Like you are essentially, you think about it. You earn $100. So half of that goes to your agent. There's $50. Take about another $15 to $20 out of that for taxes. You're left with a small fraction of what you were offered. You're down to like $20. It's 20% of what you were originally promised to be paid. No, don't do it.
Obviously, the amount of work you're going to do is not worth $20. It's like, nah. And for me, I think the part that mostly was something really stood out to me, the whole like dissolution of the business relationship is in company discretion. Because like even when you sign a contract and like a company like regular work, a desk job, it's like they still have stipulations for when you can. You have to respect their stipulations, but you can still choose to quit if you want, give your notice and everything. It's not like you can't do this, and we will like put up a fight if you want to quit on your own terms, essentially, or you want to dissolve this. We say, if we want to fire you or we want to end this, we will do it. You can't say shit. That's what it's saying to me.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I mean,
ooh.
The only difference between like a normal day job in that situation and this is, for this, you are an independent contractor, and so you are signing a contract. When you are going to like a normal desk job, you sign like safety waivers essentially, or like responsibility waivers, but it's nothing that they can go after you for legally if you were to, leave the company or whatnot. Zamoody, I feel like you have something on the to contradict.
Oh no,
what
it's
I'm
fine.
saying.
I've been very contrary when it's, but I'm letting you guys talk.
The main thing I think I'm not, because there are specific protected characteristics that you cannot be fired for in any part of the, and it just sounds to me like anything that, like literally anything that they disagree, like that they can just go, well, like for example, say this person is a female and got pregnant and had to take time off. They could go, oh, you're pregnant. No, we can just. It basically sounds like it sounds like if you know what I mean. It sounds like they are trying it on a written format currently here on Reddit. So we haven't actually seen the contract, so we can't make a snap decision on actually what this person is referring to. So we're only referring to what this person's has written. And from the way they've written it, the way they've described it to me, it sounds just like that this business can drop them at the like a pin. What's the saying? Like pin hat?
Drop of a hat? Is that what you're looking for? Yeah.
Just at any moment for any reason, and that is what I think disconcerted me, and I think Misty as well, in the sense of it was just that thing of for any reason they could just drop it. And it just didn't feel like that person had those safety nets that most normal people, like in a salary job, would have. And I guess in a weird way that is a difference that we. But I don't. Then again, I don't know if that's something that is beneficial to be in a union, because then they have those safety nets and they have those bits and pieces. When you're an independent contractor, maybe there is just some stuff like this that happens. I don't know, but it just felt fishy.
It's saddening and disheartening, but it's the norm. Before I fell into a couple of full-time jobs, I was doing contract IT work for a while. I would do 3-6 months contracts at a time. And one of them I got fired from because I sent an email out to investors basically saying that some people around our office weren't doing their jobs. It was an accident, of course, sort of. But
that sounds like WB to me.
But by Friday, they're like, hand in your security badge and good luck to you. So, but Zamoody, I'm curious as to what you have to say, because
I've been very, very interested. I'm very curious about everybody's point on this one. First off, if you're an independent contractor, the second one generally is always there. They can fire you for whatever reason they want. Period.
Sucks.
That's you being and that's the reason between hiring an independent contractor and actually bringing in an employee. An employee gets a lot more rights than an independent contractor. They can say, we're just terminating your contract. You're done. This is done. And unfortunately, when it comes to voice acting, this is very, very normal.
Right.
Okay.
So morality clause, everything, it's all in there.
New today.
I watch a lot of Shark Tank. Does that help you guys kind of figure out where I'm going?
Is that Dragon's Den?
Kind of.
Somebody help me.
50% of something is something. If this person is a super high-end agent that can book you those big old jobs that and you can verify this and everything else, having income coming in that may be more than what you would do independently is very appealing. Even if you're giving 50% of it to somebody else. If it's a beneficial relationship that you can see that will turn into something bigger, I would be very curious about signing it. 25% of what I book outside is bullshit. Plain and simple. That would be my first stop. My second stop, yes, I would probably want to negotiate down 50%. But 50% of a shit ton of work is better than an insy bitsy bit of work.
Oh, of course. I mean, 50% of $1 million, you're still walking home with 500 grand,
right.
And even after taxes, that's still a shitload of money. But
I think,
don't know.
I mean, normally, yes. Okay. It's Reddit and this may not be, but I mean, this is something to consider because, as you go down the line, opportunities like this may come around.
I mean, I guess it kind of just depends on how much work you will be booking. I would be more comfortable with paying 50% after I've been under contract for a year and know that I'm getting consistent work. If I just say, here's half my paycheck for every job you book, and I'm only getting 10 to 20 jobs a year that are paying me, $500 to $1,000, that's not that great,
Are the terms shit? Absolutely. 100%. But I mean, I would love to see in comparison to what a normal contract might look like. I have a feeling that your first contracts are going to look very similar to this. So we don't know, what position this person's in, what part of their current journey in voice acting, or how good this agent is. Those are, I think, the three mitigating factors that would make me pause and make me think, maybe if this guy's going to get me, 50 IMDb credits, 50 jobs out there in 3 to 5 years, and I can survive with it, okay, indentured servitude doesn't really sound so bad at this moment.
Sure.
But at the same time, if this turns into 3 years of he's sitting on his ass and I'm not getting nothing, and I'm paying him a quarter of everything else that I'm doing, then yeah. So for me, it falls into that. Is it worth it? And I bring up Shark Tank because they say it a lot. Okay, yeah, you're paying me half, but you're going to get so much more money because of me being involved in this, me putting my name behind it. Your sales are going to go way up, and you're going to see more money than you've ever seen in your life.
True. And, looking at it from the other perspective, too, it could be a similar situation in, I guess how Twitch was, where, if you're affiliate status, your pay is 50% of whatever you make, because 50% goes to Twitch in the end. But after time, once you've achieved a partner status, or had you achieved partner status, eventually you could have made your way into a 70-30 split where you're only giving them 30%.
Right.
And so it could be a similar situation here where they are essentially making a working relationship with you, and as time goes on, once they know, yes, you are reliable and yes, you provide excellent service and work, they might renegotiate that and say, how about we do a 60-40 split, or even, 70-30.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm really glad that you mentioned that, because that's a very good point that I didn't really think of.
It's entirely possible, but I feel like the way that it's very stressed that they have a lot of power in the whole situation. So I feel like if you try to do that too early, or if you go into it thinking, I'll just try this out and see how much I actually earn, and then you want to negotiate, they'll be like, okay, I don't think this is working, and they'll just cut you off, because they have the ability to do that. If you want to be if they notice that you may start being a little hesitant and trying to negotiate, they might be like,
but I mean, that's still within your right. I mean, I think a negotiation is expected. A first offer is a first offer, and I mean, they'll generally tell you non-negotiable. Here you go. Or if they don't say that, it doesn't hurt you to counteroffer.
Right.
Because it's an expectation in the business, in all honesty.
You should go on Shark Tank, Zamoody.
Well, what am I going to sell?
We have Cold Read. Would you be interested?
Cold Read Talent Agency.
No, you need to start that, and then we can go for it. So we'll go from there.
I thought it was you bring them the idea.
No, you kind of have to have it
your investment.
Kind of
it's
already
going. It's got to
going.
be a startup.
Yeah, so that you can give them an idea of how people have received it so far, what your product, all that.
What do you mean I can't get paid for my ideas?
I once saw an episode of Shark Tank where I think someone brought an MLM business to Shark Tank. I think.
Oh yeah.
The poor bloke was just
Rubio,
sweating.
Just laid them up.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So yeah, one of the biggest reasons you do want to think of yourself as a business. So that's why we bring it up in the way that we do. So that's it. I think we've covered a lot of good topics. I appreciate everybody who hung around in chat. Thank you very much. And yeah, that would have been a nope Magmorta for some of the stuff. But you got to look at it from both sides. You never know where it's going to turn up. So next week we're going to have another free topic day, and I believe Misty, it's your turn. So yeah, absolutely. So that's absolutely awesome. If you have any topics, anything you want us to talk about, please feel free to email us coldreadthepodcast@gmail.com, coldreadthepodcast@gmail.com, or join our Discord. The link is in the description. Go on in, come on and join. You can talk to us directly. Any questions that you have relating to the business, we do have a nice network of very, very knowledgeable individuals. We can forward your question over and see if we can get you an adequate answer. We would love to hear your audio, though, so please do me a favor, send us those demos, send us those auditions. We will listen to them. We will give you constructive feedback. We don't bite. We don't be mean. We will definitely try to help you move forward. So with that all said, let's give it to Renara for our sign-offs.
So, no, you're beholden to nobody but yourself, and I've got to remember that. You set your own terms on that regard. You are the one who sets your own pace. You are the one that dictates how your journey's gonna go. And if it's slower than what most people would like, that's fine, because it's your speed. You do not need permission to create. You do need permission to make money off of something that maybe be created by someone else's IP, but it is always literally like Eldurrino is doing. Create, make something, do it. Yes. If you have an idea, just make it. And there's so many other things you could do. And lastly, have fun. And if you aren't having fun, find a way to, if it means taking a break, it means taking a break. If it means finding a new avenue to find something new and then come back to it, that's the thing. Have fun. Life is short. Have fun.
I love it. Thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate you. See you all next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Microwaves.
Bye. Drink water.
Drink water. Yes, there it is.